Hi, I'm Preston Schrader. I'm a seed and trait technology development rep with Bayer Crop Science. I work in the East Central Illinois region, and today we're going to talk about some of the 2019 results of the protocols that we established. The first trial we're going to talk about is a SmartStax versus Double Pro comparison. With this trial, we looked at a couple different factors. So we actually went out and we dug roots to evaluate rootworm pressure below ground. We rated those roots on a 0 to 3 node injury scale, 0 being no feeding and a 3 being 3 nodes pruned back, which is the maximum score. To put that in perspective, 1 node of feeding equates to about a 15% yield loss that farmer could expect to see as a result of rootworm feeding.
So now we're going to look at some data, the results from this trial. We're going to look at the root ratings here. On the left-hand side, you can see that there was no soil-applied insecticide applied to these entries for Double Pro and SmartStax. On the right-hand side, we have the same entries, but we added the additional soil-applied insecticide. So the left-hand bar, we have Double Pro hybrids, which have no rootworm traits. This bar shows the entries that weren't protected by a trait or a soil-applied insecticide. This bar shows the SmartStax without a soil-applied insecticide. The unprotected hybrids in this trial had just under a 1 on that 0 to 3 scale, so quite significant feeding. But then when we looked at the just straight SmartStax entries, we took that down by more than half, down to below 0.4 on that 0 to 3 scale. So SmartStax showed tremendous root protection across all of these entries. When we added a soil-applied insecticide to the Double Pro version, we reduced that amount of rootworm feeding from just under 1 to once again right at 0.4 nodes on that 0 to 3 scale. So we did add a significant amount of root protection also from the soil-applied insecticide. So now we'll look at the harvest results. Once again, these are near isoline hybrids, so the same hybrid either with no below ground trait or 2 below ground traits in the form of SmartStax. We can see on the far left hand bar, a Double Pro with no soil applied insecticide yielded just under 210 bushels. And then that same variety in the SmartStax form yielded 230 bushels. So just over 20 bushel yield advantage from an unprotected plant versus the protected with traits plants. So a significant yield increase with SmartStax. When we add a soil-applied insecticide to the Double Pro, we add a mode of action for rootworm control, and you can see here that we had an increase in yield, up about 12 bushel increase with the Double Pro with soil-applied insecticide. This was a great increase. However, I usually say that with soil-applied insecticides, the efficacy isn't usually quite as great as we see with traits, where traits are expressing on every plant minus the 5% refuge. With a soil-applied insecticide, you rely on environmental conditions and whether or not that insecticide was activated and how long that soil-applied insecticide was there providing protection. So you can see with the SmartStax, we had an increase in yield by about another 10 bushel compared to the Double Pro with an insecticide. So some key takeaways from this trial. 2019 corn rootworm pressure was high in northern Illinois and then low to medium in central Illinois. And then finally, below ground protection from traits such as SmartStax, Refuge, and a Bag Complete corn blend provide root protection from corn rootworm and also protect yield where the pest is present.